Welcome back. This is SeeWing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. I'm going to go over this program, which does not matter where you're located in the country or even overseas. You could potentially get involved in this pretty amazing opportunities. Look, uh, I've been putting out a lot of content, YouTube videos, and a lot of it is co-living. That's my main forte, right? Co-living, new construction, rent by the room, amazing cash flow. If you watch, if you Google my YouTube channel, SeeWing Yee, then of course you will find all those video content around co-living and other contents. But today I'm gonna pivot a little bit, and I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna start to produce more this video on this topic. It's called VA foreclosure, Veterans Administration VA foreclosures. Okay, we are entering the foreclosure game. The the topic I'm going to discuss is not in the mainstream media. Very few people know about it. I do because, in case you do not know, my real estate, my background is quite unique. Not only I've been a real estate investor for more than 20 years, I've been through many different cycles. I help hundreds and hundreds of real estate investors from all over the country to buy turnkey cash flow new construction in the path of growth throughout the past 20 something years. Well, I started, buying, help coach and mentor investors for a long, long time, but I'm not a famous influencer. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't have million views, nothing like that. But nor that I want to. I don't think I want to. But anyway, I have a core group of motivated investors that follow my advice, follow my path, if you will. I've been to many different markets. I have created a lot of portfolios, versus portfolios of turnkey, hands-off, almost passive investment, mainly single-family homes up to fourplex, brand new construction, cash flow, turnkey, 100% property management. Way back then, back in 20 something years ago, I started in buying in Arizona, in Nevada, in North and South Carolina, Texas, Florida, and all over the Sun Belt. At that time, 20 something years ago, a single family home, brand new, 3 bedroom, 2 bath is like $100,000, $120,000. Now they're like $300,000 to $400,000 in many markets. But anyway, let me digress. Let me focus on today's topic. Today's topic is, I don't want to spend too much time, but I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to produce more content on a weekly basis to promote this unique program. Is Vendee Financing, is VA foreclosures. Okay, it's very, very specific. Look, prior to become a real estate investor in 2002, 2003, when I just retired from active duty U.S. Army after 20 years of active duty U.S. Army. 20 years. I retired 2002. Okay. So another brief background. I have house hacked. Some of you do not know what does that mean. I've house hacked 5 times in my lifetime. 5 times I used because I'm a military veteran. I'm able to buy with 0% down on a VA loan, Veteran Administration loan, with 0% down to buy numerous properties to as an owner occupied house hack, right? I live in there initially as a principal home, 0% down VA loan, right? It's amazing. It's winning the $1 million lottery. So I did that like 30 something years ago, right? When I was in active duty. 0% down. I bought it in San Francisco Bay Area. Imagine, right? Anyway, long story short, okay, I make a lot of money because California real estate has is one of the highest appreciation market in history, right, of the world, whatever, right? So if you live in California for the past 30 something years, like I have, and I purchased like 3 or 4 primary home with 0% down VA loan, and I, invest and I stay at those houses for the long term. I raise for a family. My wife and I raised 2 children. They're adult now, right? My children are millennials now. Anyway, so I made tons of equity over time, and I used the home equity line of credit to buy multiple cash flow homes back in the early 2000s, long time ago. Make the long story short, I used a lot of those equity of the home to buy multiple properties across many markets in the country, cash flow and all that, the whole 9 yards. But since then, I'm sort of I'm the beginning stage of a baby boomer. So I've been doing full-time travel, like full-time luxury cruise ships, like all over the world. I mean, on a consistent basis for the past 20 years also. So you could make the argument I'm a full-time, I'm a semi-retired, if you will, right? All these years, my wife and I have been traveling full-time on cruise ships all over the world, okay, very consistently. At the same time, I'm running my real estate business, the Yee Real Estate business. I spend like 5 or 10 hours per week running my thriving real estate consulting business. And I continue to do so, which is my Yee Real Estate Network. All right, okay. So today's program, I don't want to spend too much time because I'm gonna produce more of this content. So I have a consultation program. Now, this program is very unique. I've done this off and on for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, there are veterans, active duty veterans, and the military veterans who leave the active service. They become a civilian. These individuals, they're able to buy 0% down VA loan, right? So of course, some of those people, whether they are in active duty or whether they retire or they spend a few years in the military and they leave the service, and therefore they become a civilian, and they're still able to qualify to buy 0% down VA loan, right? To buy a primary home owner occupied. So just like any other homeowners, some of those, a small percentage of those homeowners, they default on their mortgage, okay? And unfortunately, very, very sad, a small percentage, like 1 or 2% of them, they let the property go for whatever reason, divorce, maybe they die on the soldier died in active duty, or they're going through a divorce, they have a disability, whatever, they couldn't pay the mortgage, so they did let the house go, so the VA take back the house, right? So to make the long story short, so and a lot of veterans, very, very sad, they let the house go and and VA take the house back, it become a VA foreclosure. So, and we have this Vendee loan financing. So what you can do, you as an investor, you do not need to be in the military or whatever applies to anyone. You can qualify for this program so we call it Vendee Loan Finance Program. Vendee Loan is, as an investor, all you need is a 5% down payment. 5% down payment, no PMI. You could bid for this kind of properties, these VA foreclosures. 5% down is very unique, right? Normally, when you buy investment property, you have to pay 20 to 25% down payment, right? And closing costs, the whole 9 yards. But this Vendee financing, which the mainstream media, they have no clue what's going on. This is such a niche market, right? NICHE, niche market. But I'm one of the few real estate investors that understand the VA foreclosure route, okay, and to understand Vendee financing, okay, everything very, very specialized within this little world. So if you are motivated investor, if you have in the past 2 out of the last 5 years, if you own at least one rental property, that makes you qualify. Okay, you have to have some kind of experience in order to tap into these VA foreclosures that are available throughout the country. All right, don't worry, I'll give you more details later. So, in addition to that, if you have a full-time job, if you qualify for a typical loan to get an investment loan, if you have a FICO score higher than 700, right? And if you have the down payment available and everything else, a full doc loan, if you believe you have you can qualify to get a loan, any kind of loan. But in this unique loan, this is a Vendee, Vendee, Vendee Financing. It's a very unique program. So 5% down. Imagine, right? so this is the website VRM. All right. So it's a this VA foreclosure program been around for decades. Okay. Again, the Department of Veteran Affairs, they do not broadcast this type of program to the general public. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know, it's sort of a top secret program, if you will, right? If you use a military acronym, this is a top secret program. VA foreclosures are available to you. This will, I'm going to show you the listing very, very shortly. They are available in a multiple listing service. You in the area where these properties are located. So anyone can bid for this VA for this foreclosure properties. I'm going to show you some sample listings. Okay. Anyone, you don't have to be a military, but all you gotta do is qualify, like I just said, right? I just gave you the qualification. You must own at least one rental property, 2 out of the last 5 years. Okay, or are you clear? Have a good FICO score. You can qualify for the loan. You have down payment, which is 5% down payment, right? No private mortgage insurance. Okay, and the Vendee financing rate is like a VA loan rate. Just like the interest rate or comparable to the competitive mortgage rate that you've been accustomed to hearing on a daily basis, right? What's today's current mortgage rate? 6.7%, whatever. So that's the 30-year fixed rate. The Vendee financing is 5% down, 30-year fixed rate, whatever the rate is in any particular time. So this kind of foreclosures are not that hard to qualify. I mean, so let me share with you. This is a Vendee loan financing scenario. Let me go back to the other page. Now there are 64 pages of VA foreclosure. They call it, I don't know what they call it, Vendee, Vendee, Vendee financing. Again, any individual out there, they could look at the multiple listing servers in all these locations where these properties are located, and you can bid for the property. All right. So because I've been investing in rental property in so many different markets. I know Florida and Texas the best, and any other markets I'm aware of, like in the other areas. Of course, I live in California, in San Francisco Bay Area, for the past 30 years because I spent a lot of my time in active duty back in the 1990s. At that time in the Bay Area, they still have active military bases. Now, no more. There's only one military base left in Northern California, which is Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield, California. Anyway, so I digress. So look, I can help you, right? I can help you find these properties. I'll charge a modest consultation fee. It doesn't matter where you're located in the country. This kind of property, I can pick and choose. Look, this website, VRM website, for the longest time, they were only around 19 pages. They were only 100 properties are available to the general public to bid this kind of properties. And now, you know what happened? You know what happened? This is a breaking news. During the during COVID times, a lot of these veterans, active duty and ex-active duty veterans, they bought this property and they for whatever reason they couldn't pay the mortgage, whatever, and the house gets foreclosed. But during the pandemic, they were a moratorium. A lot of this distressed homes stock or the Department of Veteran Affairs, the VA, the government, they delay the foreclosure process. It's a moratorium. You heard about that, right? So for the past 3, 4, 5 years, ever since the pandemic occurred 2021 to 2022, right? Around 2.5 years. So since 2022 until now, 2026, the past 4 to 5 years, there has been a moratorium on government foreclosure proceedings against these ex-veterans. Follow me? But now the moratorium is over. This is the breaking news, okay? I just checked with the Department of Veteran Affairs. I just checked with the head honcho up there, and she verified that, yeah, the moratorium has lifted. So a lot of these, several thousand of these homes are that were suspended from foreclosure proceedings, now they are back in the market. No more moratorium. So a lot of, hate to say this word, so we have received like 10 times the amount of foreclosed homes or dump into the system, into the foreclosure system, which is this VRM website is the location where all these properties has been dumped into, right? So 64 pages, each page 8, 12, 16, each page there are 16 properties. Okay, so out of these 1,011 properties, they're located in across the U.S. See all the address. There are VA foreclosures are in the system in most like 20 or 30 states. A lot of these location of these properties are located are in where there's some kind of military environment, right? Close to military bases, like in Texas and Florida and Arizona, wherever, right? But so my role is to I mean, I can help you find these kind of deals. And a lot of these properties are good quality. They're built like within 2021, 2022, like few years old. And a lot of these foreclosure properties are almost brand new, right? If you look at the pictures, right, the pictures are available. So when you buy this vehicle foreclosure, it's a good neighborhood, good rental market, good appreciation potential. The property is really, really nice for the most part. And the price point is like 200K, 250K. So I want to make sure I just pick and choose the best one, right? I'm not gonna look, if you hire me as your coach, whatever, pay me a fee, advance fee, I don't know, not much, okay? It's just the fee, whatever fee you pay me, I will help you find a deal. Okay, I know the specific locations because I was in active duty. I've been to I was stationed in many of these places. And when I retired in 2002, I became a real estate investor, and I help my regular investors to buy turnkey new construction cash flow properties in many of the Sun Belt locations. So I know many markets. I'm not I'm not an expert in those markets, but all these years I have created a relationship with builders, with property managers, with all kind of real estate people. I have connections all over the country, mainly in the best areas. I don't have a presence in the Midwest. Midwest is not in my playground. I specialize in Florida, mainly Florida and Texas. There's a heavy concentration of military people. So those VA foreclosures are located in a lot of it in Florida and Texas. That's my playground. That's my you know what I mean? But I know the other areas. Okay, Arizona, Colorado, or Tennessee, or Georgia, or North and South Carolina. I know those pockets, right? Wherever there's a military installation, there's a lot of military installations located in the south and southeast and in the western region. But I find the right properties, which I do the numbers. I know the area from a high level. I know the neighborhood, the zip code of many areas in Texas, all San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, and Austin. I know all the submarkets in these areas. I know the neighborhood, the zip code, and I know the price range. You put 5% down payment. We need to have some kind of resemblance of a break-even cash flow. I'm not gonna direct you. If you hire me to be your real estate coach to help you find these kind of VA deals, I'm not gonna, you know, recommend to buy $500,000 VA foreclosure properties with 5% down. You're not gonna cash flow, right? I've done all the numbers. Do the numbers. 5% down. It's very hard to cash flow on any single family properties these days anymore, right? I mean, we all know that because the skyrocketing of the home prices in the past 5 years. And mortgage rate has increased dramatically from the pandemic, historic low mortgage rates. It's very, very hard to cash flow, even with 25% down payment anywhere in the country. But I can help you find the deals where you can at least break even. And you want to look, these properties are located in a multiple listing service, wherever these properties are located. All right. There's a lot of locations. There's in Alabama, Tennessee, as you can see, right? I find the right deals. I'm talking, I will help you find the deals that can break even in cash flow and any kind of repairs and upkeep. Then you have to pay out of pocket. You will pay for the repairs. In addition, for the down payment, 5% down payment and the closing costs, whatever, $6,000-7,000 closing costs, you need some cash reserve, 5 or 6 months of cash reserve. Those are your requirements. But I'm going to find a property that can break even cash flow for you in around 200K range, or around the price range, mostly in Florida and Texas. So these properties are located in or in the MLS, multiple listing service. You have to sort of a bidding war. You're bidding against 3, 4, 5 other individuals that wanting to obtain these kind of deals. But I'll help, if you hire me to become your coach, I'll help you make an offer. I know the system, okay? There's a system you must know. I mean, of course, you can do it yourself, but you could have a hard time get up to speed. So I've been doing this vehicle foreclosure off and on for the past 20 years, and I know the locations. I know the VA listing agent, the property managers, in many of those locations in South and Southeast. All right, so some of these properties are so desirable. See, if I see a price like 175K, 5% down, if I see a rent, I use all kind of look. I know the numbers. Okay, I'll pick the right property for you. I mean, the small fee you pay me up front, for example, I will ensure if you take 2 or 3, 4 months to ultimately to find the right property that meets your demands, then you close out the one deal. Okay, whatever small fee you pay me initially after we do a consultation, I will make sure. We may have to do spend time in the next few months to find 3 or 4 or 5 deals, submit the offer, get the offer accepted, then you submit your paperwork to the lender, to the Vendee Financing lender. They will pre-qualify you. Then you go through escrow. Then you will get an inspection report. During the inspection report phase, if you do not like what the inspection report, which you can pay about it, you could decline the offer. You could walk away from the offer. So you go through the regular closing process. If your offer is accepted by the VA, right? You'll compete against several other highly sophisticated investors. Then you get then you go through escrow. You get the loan, the Vendee Financing loan, at least 5% down. You can do more. I help you run the numbers, do the underwriting, we can do it remotely, right? It doesn't matter where you live in the country, okay? The way we transact, we can do remotely, online, Zoom meeting, whatever it takes. Then whatever small fee you pay me, I'll make sure that at some point in time you will get at least one property done, all signed, sealed, and delivered. Okay. Then once the property close escrow, either I will help our own property manager that can help you manage the property, so you can rent it out to a renter. So you can achieve break-even cash flow, maybe even slight positive cash flow, and you invest for the long term. So I got the system, process, and procedures. We have the title companies, the property managers, everybody on the ground, our team to help you. If I don't have a team in a specific location where you target a property and your offer was approved, whatever, I mean, the VA listing agent on each of those property, they have their own team that we have to trust, right? So I know there's a lot of uncertainty so far, but bear in mind, okay? I mean, you're saying at the end of the day, these kind of vehicle foreclosure properties are very, very highly desirable. Okay, and in a very fast growing markets, and have a lot of great future, great rental market, appreciation potential, high quality property, right? Only a few years old. Some of these properties are not that old, right? I mean, just because it's a VA foreclosure, it doesn't mean the house is dilapidated. I'm not gonna make an offer on a property that are really in a bad shape, in a bad neighborhood, whatever, right? I'll help you. We work one-on-one. I'll find the right deal, great location, great zip code, great neighborhood that's very much rentable, right? And the whole 9 yards. Okay, I'm not gonna give you any more details right now. This video has gone on way too long already. But on a weekly basis, I will come back with some update on a VA foreclosure process. All right. So if you're interested, my number is my cell phone text is 510-552-0726. You can contact me directly, so we can do a complimentary consultation on a phone, FaceTime, or Zoom meeting, whatever. Then hopefully we can do business together. My fee is very, very reasonable, $1,500 and give or take, something like that. One-time fee, so I could invest my time. My time is valuable because I run a pretty lucrative real estate consulting business, the Yee Real Estate Network. Anyway, so with that in mind, VA foreclosure is a top secret program, but you can scale. You can buy, I get you one deal, over time, if you're motivated, you have extra money, 5% down each time, closing costs, and some extra, you pay something extra on the repair costs, maintenance, and all that. Get you one deal. You can scale this portfolio, right? 5% down instead of 25% down payment. So, it's just a tremendous return of your money and time. So, no one, who's to say I could be the only VA foreclosure expert in the entire country. I don't know anyone else is doing that, right? Doing this, what we're doing. So tremendous program. Anyway, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also put your email on my website below, so you can become a free member of our real estate investing community. We become a free member of our community, of our vast community within our network of like-minded real estate investors. Then you'll receive a weekly email on important information, including VA foreclosures and co-living properties that I've been promoting very, very consistently as well. So a lot of great content. All right, thank you so much. This is SeeWing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time very soon. Bye-bye.